soft land the rocket booster in the Gulf of Mexico last time, there is a chance they will still have to do that today. At some point, there will be a decision made by the flight director, and that will depend on, not only how the telemetry from the rocket is looking, but is the landing site clear of any obstacles, people, boats? That's the only thing. It could even cause a delay in the launch if they haven't cleared the area of all the boats, all these interested people. If they go too close to it, they could hold up everything. So yeah, unless the flight director presses the button to say, yes, let's attempt this landing with the chopsticks, it will go and try a soft landing again in the Gulf of Mexico. So fingers crossed on everything, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Just under a minute and a half to go. You can see they're keeping things warmed up, I'd imagine. Just a quick word, Ashna, on the reason they're doing this is because they don't want to just burn these things and have them land somewhere else and they have to build it from scratch. They want to reuse the booster for next time.
Yeah, this is all about sustainability and what they're calling rapid reusable parts and mechanisms that will make space travel ultimately more economically and environmentally friendly than it has been in the past. There is a real push to try and make this work from, as I say, NASA's perspective, but also from SpaceX. And this is months of preparation that's gone into this. SpaceX have done a series of tests, whether it's, a quick swings with these chopsticks, trying to simulate that catch. As we see so much excitement there already, and using that test article to practice clamping the structure. But so much could go wrong.
30 seconds to go. You can see they're getting very excited there. So we will stop talking for the moment. We'll leave the countdown playing, and we will speak with Kate and Ashna after things have got underway.
Seconds away from liftoff.
T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Vehicles pitching downrange. Booster after chamber pressure nominal.
Seconds into the flight, the rumble's just starting to reach us here at launch control.
Booster and ship, avionics power, telemetry nominal.
33 Raptor engines.
Max Q.
Now pass through the maximum aerodynamic pressure, the most stress the vehicle's going to see on the way uphill. All right, our next major milestone coming up, it's going to be hot staging. We're going to see the engines ignite on ship to push it away from the booster. All right, so hot staging is going to be the next thing coming up. First, we're going to see the booster's engines start to shut down, all but 3. We're going to do what's called most engines cut off instead of main engine cut off, because 3 are going to keep going, and then we're going to see the engines on ship ignite. Right now, the tower team is doing their go, no go. And we might hear some really good words soon, too. All right. Can still see it up behind me. That is one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen in my entire life. Coming up on hot staging next.
Ship engine
There's
startup.
most engines cut off.
Stage separation.
There you have the separation of the booster from Starship, and the booster then dropping back to Earth in the hope that it is going to land back at Boca Chica in Texas, where it just took off from. We got a glimpse there, didn't we, Ashton, I think, of the clamps, the chopsticks, they're being called, that SpaceX is hoping will catch that booster as it comes back down to Earth.
The takeoff itself, that many people said was the easy bit because they knew that they could do that. You know, as your guest mentioned on that first flight, the thing blew up and it didn't even reach that stage. But as we've seen, that moment of separation, and what we saw there very briefly, and what we have been seeing, is that booster doing that flip maneuver, and now it's going to try and make that descent back to that launch tower, which we are hoping those robotic arms will essentially clamp around it. And as that booster goes down to the ground and it's travelling at supersonic speed, it's understood that supersonic speed will slow, and as it does so, some loud thunder-like booms will be heard around that landing zone in Texas that will be heard for miles, and it will slowly start to drop in speed so that those clamps can go around it. In terms of where this goes now, because it's currently flying through the air, there's still that unknown of whether it is going to end up landing in the Gulf of Mexico, as happened at the fourth mission, or whether it is going to successfully land back at that launch tower.
Still with us is Kate Arkless-Gray, a space journalist. And Kate, the way Ashley described it there, it's a bit like threading a needle, isn't it? I mean, they've got to be very precise here.
I mean, I think one of the most incredible things for me is the fact that it will be traveling at supersonic speed, and then less than 1 minute later, it will have done its soft landing. So whether that's in the ocean or has been caught by the chopsticks, it's got less than a minute to go from faster than the speed of sound to landing. And that's the deceleration involved in that is wild. I mean,
and it's that deceleration through the sound barrier that means there'll be a sonic boom.
And you'll get a double sonic boom because you'll get one for each end. So the bottom of the booster and the top of the booster will both have, so it'll be a boom, boom. I was lucky enough to see a Falcon Heavy launch in Florida a few months ago, and watching those boosters come back, even they were much, much smaller boosters, but it's the dual booster landing. Absolutely incredible, because the speed they're going at, you think something must have gone wrong. There's no way that these can land. They're just going to be like lawn darts and slam into the earth. And then with the landing burn, they just sort of slowed to this really graceful pace and just lowered themselves gently to the ground. And then because of the delay of because due to the distance, there were those double sonic booms, and because there were two boosters, there was a double sonic boom. It was really spectacular. So one day I need to go out and see one of these Starship launches in person. It must be incredible.
And I think we're seeing images now of Starship itself, which of course was launched off the top of the boosters going into low orbit. But here comes the booster. The booster is called Super Heavy, which gives you an idea of just how difficult this is. Something super heavy rocketing back towards Earth at supersonic speed until it slows down. And you can see we've got a much closer view of it now as it comes back towards Earth. Let's listen in.
How fast this vehicle is moving on the left hand. Ignited. We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now.
Well, I think we can deem that a success. That is a remarkable thing to witness, firing that super heavy booster rocket into the air, launching Starship into low orbit, then coming back at supersonic speed and slowing down just enough to be grabbed by those clamps that they're calling chopsticks. And I think that view tells you everything you need to know. Rapturous applause, people holding their heads in their hands at that sight, like nothing we've seen in terms of space exploration before. And Kate is still with us, Ashna as well. Kate, they can reuse that one another day. That was the whole point of this 5th test of Starship.
Yeah, I mean, they'll want to check all the telemetry, make sure that the booster itself came back healthy, but that looked pretty spectacular to me. I am amazed that they managed to do that, but you know, SpaceX has done some incredible stuff. They have really, really innovated. You know, even just a few years ago, the idea of bringing a booster back to land on land or land on a barge in the sea, you know, nobody was doing that, and they've managed to do that now. I think with the Falcon boosters, like, over 350 times. And now to do that with a Super Heavy and this new, completely new, novel chopstick catching thing, I mean, that's kind of wild. It's, wow, well done, well done. I totally understand why they are excited, because this was a very difficult technical thing to do, and they pulled it off, so bravo.
Absolutely, Kate. I think wild is an understatement. It just beggars belief what we've just witnessed, the precision necessary with those forces involved. We're going to show you it again now. Here it comes, a slightly wider shot. And I can't really put into words how incredible that is to witness. It looked like it was slightly skew-whiff for a second, but then, well, clearly they knew what they were doing, Ashley.
It's just, I can't stop smiling, because it's really quite extraordinary what we've just seen. And, you know, for people that are fascinated by space and just, you know, find this stuff so delicious to watch, and for people who don't know much about it, I mean, it's just quite insane. As Kate was saying, this was travelling at supersonic speed. Within a minute, Kate told us, that booster had to slow itself down. As you say, it came in almost at a wonky angle from the way that we were watching it. And those claws, those robotic arms, just perfectly caught it. And you could see and hear the reaction from people in Texas who were watching. And all within the space of, just under 7 minutes. And what this could mean for the future of space exploration is humongous. They can reuse this however many times they want to, it's thought. But it looks as though, as you can see, the chamber almost is like it's burning. And that's just the engines turning off. And as it lowers down into those robotic arms called chopsticks, back onto the launch tower, it just perfectly sits into place, and you can't really put into words